Hey everybody, this is Doc Mack coming to you from the Galloping Ghost Arcade in Brookfield, Illinois. It's October 14th, 2013, and tonight we are joined with Fred DeHart, who is one of our regular players here who has countless high scores and world records that have been set here. He's one of our year members, and we're having him out here tonight to talk a little bit about his gaming history and just how he got into video games and get a little more background on him as he is such a great player. So Fred, the first thing I want to ask you is how were you first introduced into playing video games, and what's the first game that you remember playing?
Well, I was introduced to video games as a young lad back in 86 I'll say, with the NES. Like many people of my generation, Super Mario Brothers was one of the earliest memories I have, and Duck Hunt, of course. And there was this early shoot 'em up we used to play. The name escapes you right now. It's like Xenon or something along those lines. And those are my very earliest memories of my father. He actually was a bigger gamer than I was at the time. You know, as a young child, you struggle to play these games. You think they're hard. So my dad was like, yeah, you want to play? Okay. And then like, oh, I think it's time to go to bed, Freddie. And then he'd stay up till wee hours of the morning playing like Super Mario Brothers and stuff like that. But yeah, those are my earliest memories of gaming.
What about arcade gaming?
Now, one of the earliest arcade memories I have is, oddly enough, so I grew up in Berwyn, and there was this 7-Eleven that was kind of close to where I went to school at junior high, and they had a Street Fighter 2 machine in there, and that's where I really got into the arcade games, like, putting your quarter up, hustling people like, oh, you ever played this game? Neither have I. Let's play for money, that kind of deal. And then, of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, was really big when I was younger, and like those were like the two arcade games that really got me into the scene. Yeah.
Back then, were you playing for score or more just to finish the game?
No, like it was just as a young child, you just want to like play as much as you can, just because it's fun. Like you like the arts, the cartoonishness of it, the graphic violence, and I had no idea about like high scores. None of us were like, oh, I got 200,000 points in a Street Fighter. No, we're like, I beat you with Blanca like 3 times in a row. It was more important,
How often would you go to the arcade?
Well, the thing is, like, I didn't have a chance to go to like an established arcade like Aladdin's Castle or Haunted Trails on a regular basis. But there's a lot of like mom and pop stores that would have at least one arcade game in there. So I as much as I could, I go like there's this one hot dog joint that had Golden Axe I would go to like after school every day, like buy a thing of fries and like try and play Golden Axe as long as I can. There's a little bodega that had the Combat Tribes. Yeah. Of all games to have, like just in the middle of this neighborhood, like this sleepy little store. So you just kind of like find out through word of mouth, like through all your friends, like where those games were, and then like you go and find them and play them. Yeah.
For like since you've been gaming now, obviously I'm sure the list of your favorite games has grown over the years. What are some of your favorite console games and some of your favorite arcade games?
I guess I'll start with the arcade games first. Donkey Kong is number one. It still has like I guess a special meaning to me. That was the first game I really played when I started coming here. Yes. And I would just play that nonstop. So that's still near and dear to me. After that, I'd say, mainly because I'm good at it, Aero Fighters, a great shoot 'em up. Who makes that? It's
Mick Ritter did the
something weird
the
like
arcade
that.
one.
Yeah. That's a favorite. I'm trying to rack my brain. Moon Patrol, even though I'm not good at it, it's one of my favorites for the arcades. And Mars Matrix. Mars Matrix is a great game. And then for the console, I'd have to say like my all-time favorite console game would have to be Super Punch-Out.
Really?
For the SNES. For a period of my life, like I didn't have cable or internet, so my one buddy is like, and I didn't have any other consoles. Like, here, you can borrow my Super Nintendo until you get something else. I'm like, okay. So I played that game every day, from like the first guy all the way through, into like memorizing all the hitboxes and all that stuff. And it was just great fun.
Now, do you play much console gaming now?
I still play. I love games. I just love games, whether it be like like on the console, your phone, computer games, sports. I love sports too. But yeah, I mainly play sports games for the console. Yeah, I still use it heavily.
What has been obviously, if you started with Nintendo, have you owned every console since then?
Just about every console except for the Xbox.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't have anything against Xbox. I never bought one. Yeah. Had the GameCube, had the Wii, had the Genesis, had a Master System, Atari. I think I had a Coleco for a little bit too. I know my one buddy had a Intellivision that I would use all the time. So I got a PS3, a PS2. I sold my GameCube, which I was so sad. I should have kept that thing. Should have kept it.
Well, since you've been coming here, I first took notice of you again with your Donkey Kong scores. What was your first world record that you set here?
That's a good question. I guess Magic Sword, I want to say.
Was it Magic Sword?
It could have been Magic Sword or Super Space Fortress Macross.
Yes.
One of those two, I'd say. I can't be sure on that, but one of those two.
And I remember when you were playing Macross, you were streaming a lot with that, and that's one of the main things. A lot of our players that actually can't come to the arcade from all over the world like watching streams and stuff. How is it for you playing with the stream going or a crowd of people? And you've set some amazing scores, and you've got Mars Matrix, you've like Aero Fighter. How are you with an audience while you're playing?
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I like. I don't say I like the attention, but I guess I do like the attention.
Oh, yeah,
Who
sure.
am I kidding? Why am I lying? I like the attention from it, and just kind of see like if I get some validation from like other people who are actually good at these games and know about them. Maybe they can give me some hints and things like that. It's just I don't know, all good fun.
For sure.
Like I guess with the streaming, like last night I was watching Jamie Tibbetts, one of members of the community. Like he goes underground retro kid. I watched him play Aero Fighters 3 for a little bit last night before I went to bed.
Yeah.
So I think those people, they like it, and I like it.
Yeah. Does it add to the stress, or like does it make you play better because you're in front of people? Or
I don't know if it makes me play better. I'll just be more conscious of what I'm saying. Because normally, like, you just say the stupidest things while you're playing. A lot of swearing, obviously. But then just like you're saying things under your breath you don't realize that you're saying just because, like, you're so focused on that. So I don't want to say something stupid,
Sure,
or potentially embarrassing. So that's the only other thing. I don't mind people watching me, or even in live too, like coming up and talking to me. Like I like it when people do that. Like,
Yeah.
Hey, what's this game all about? Oh, let me tell you.
What's been one of the toughest games that you've gone after a score for?
Toughest, I had to say Aero Fighters.
Aero Fighters.
It took me a long time. That was like the first, I'd say, a game to really get me down the shoot 'em up rabbit hole, if you will. Matt Walters, Gamer of the Year. He started playing that, and then like I joined him, because it's more fun when two people are playing, and then we kept pushing each other, and it got to a point after roughly maybe 6-7 months, like we both got stuck to at the same point, but he was like 20,000 points higher than I was. Mm-hmm. So we come back after maybe about 6-7 months afterwards, and then I got the score, and like that took me that long in that game just to like even come like close to what he had for the longest of time. And like that was quite a run, I'll just say that.
Yeah. When you're going after a score, do you watch other videos? Do you watch your old playthroughs? Do you watch?
If I can watch my old playthroughs, for the few streams that I do, I like to do that. Because you can watch video on a lot of these games, but most of the videos you find on YouTube are long plays. So people who are, they don't lie about it. They say they're save stating, re-recording, that kind of deal. So you really can't glean too much information from that. So my approach to the score is just to play the game, keep playing it over and over and over again. Like,
cool. Do you play any emulators on these games? You just strictly play here?
Yeah, I just play here.
Cool.
I guess I could do I'm just too lazy to do the main thing. I'd rather come here anyway too.
Cool. What are coming to this arcade? What have been some of your favorite events that have happened here? Whether it's just like a high score run or like what are some memorable moments that have happened here for you?
Off the top of my head, I remember when I think it was last Halloween when you sent me a text saying you got the Godzilla arcade game.
Yes.
I think it was last year, right?
It was last year, fairly late at night,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, and so I'm like, well, so I came in right away and played it, and played it through, and that was a lot of fun. Mainly, we have that Godzilla connection.
For sure.
Having my 29th birthday party here was incredible. I had roughly like 60 people show up throughout the whole day, and I was kind of worried that some of the people, well, maybe they won't like the games, this and that. Like, I got my future in-laws coming in, but they sat there. They didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
Like these people who I would never have thought would have liked these games are sitting there playing Galaga for like 3 hours straight and just can't get enough of it. That was great. Let's see. Then the most people playing arcade games at once was a great event. I enjoyed that. That was during my track and field days, so it was all.
Were you on track and field?
I was on track and field for that day, and that was a cool event.
Jumping back to scoring a little bit. Currently, again, the world records that you hold. You have Macross. Do you want to list some of your top accomplishments?
Well, it's not that many. I'm not Rocco, so I mean. I'll start with the most recent. I've got the Aero Fighters 1, 2, and 3. So I've unified all the belts. There's a fourth one, so if that ever happens, I'll try and get all four.
I will get that so you can unify.
So I've got the top score in that. Magic Sword, Macross, I mentioned that.
Yes.
Mars Matrix, and then I have a local high for the Funhouse pinballs.
Yes.
Machine, and then I think that's about it. That sounds about right.
Currently, what games are you hoping to obtain scores in? Like, what are you working on right now?
I'd like to say every game that I play, but Rocco's teaching me how to play Mr. Do, so I'm going to try and give him a run for his money on that. That's an incredibly fun game. I'm trying to branch out into other things. Like I did the whole shmup thing. Like I never felt comfortable doing that, so I'm trying to go into like more your not so popular classics, such as Mr. Do. I'm going to try and make a run at Super Mario Brothers is a pretty well-known game, and then Knights of the Round.
Knights of the Round.
Yes, that's a Capcom beat 'em up with like King Arthur kind of theme to it. Mainly the idea behind it, it's sharing a machine with Magic Sword, so I want to have the machine, just silly things like that.
If you could have the world record on any game,
Donkey Kong.
Just Donkey
Kong. That would be
choice.
Donkey Kong. I mean, it's amazing what these guys are doing in that game, and like that. To me, like for me, that represents such a high level of skill and concentration that if I could ever have that, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably just like strip naked and run around the arcade or something like that. Like that's how much I would like to do that.
Well, your skills are definitely very well noticed around here, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. And again, thanks everybody. This is Fred DeHart, one of our regulars here at the Galloping Ghost Arcade, and definitely if you're here and you see him, stop by and say hello. Again, this is Doc Mack for the Galloping Ghost Arcade out in Brookfield, Illinois. Thanks very much.